Hello everyone, Ember Power here, and welcome back to a new video. In this one, I'd like to talk about the many different formats, or I should say lack of formats in the Pokemon TCG, but really just the format situation going on with Pokemon TCG Live, hopefully what they're going to do with TCG Live in terms of formats, and of course, inevitably comparing it to Pokemon TCGO. And because I'm awful at video planning, probably not in that order. So just to go over the formats that we have on TCG Live, we have the ranked standard, which is basically you compete for these ranked points and you get access to the Battle Pass rewards as you'd expect. So if I just go over this Snubble here, basically every time you lose a game, you'll lose some points, but every time you win a game, you'll gain more points. And the whole idea of the ranked ladder is that whenever you progress into these new tiers, there is a chance that there will be some new rewards that you unlock. So for example, if I look at these rewards, probably not loading for you there, but basically there's just a bunch of cosmetic items. If I go further along enough, which takes a while to scroll through, I really don't like how they did this layout, but if I go even further, there should be some better rewards. Like I think this is like one of the better ones. We have a bunch of deck boxes and some cosmetics, and then if you want the coins and the sleeves for these deck boxes, then it's like right along here, I think. Yeah. So you just have to keep going. I think Deoxys has something. Okay, just more shirts, never mind. Keep going, just keep going. There is no way to speed this up. Oh yeah, the last league is Arceus in the Master Ball League. So as we can see here, we do get the Steves. You also get one of these like loot crate things, which typically you get 3 cards that are just really, really good. I know it says like the 4th card could be a rare VLV max. That's not necessarily true, having opened one of these up before, but you know, it's definitely not like the worst thing ever to get, but that does mean that you'll have to win a substantial amount of games and get a substantial amount of points. But yeah, that's kind of like the Poke League. And I should probably also mention very quickly the ladder end rewards, that if you play at least 5 standard format matches, it doesn't really specify if that's ranked or not. I'm pretty sure that's just casual and ranked, but to be safe, I usually just do both. But 5 standard format matches, and you do get these at the end of each ladder, which is really nice because, you know, Zamazenta is just a really nice one-of in Lost Box, which I currently don't own a copy of these, so definitely nice to see. And of course, you get a pack and then some other stuff. But yeah, that's basically it for the ranked ladder. And if we just look at the battle pass we see here, we've got like the casual and then the ranked, which is what you compete in to earn. I have not done these quests today. I've been trying to do these quests at least once a day because, you know, it's just a very good way of getting more crystals. Typically, you know, the ladder doesn't offer that much in terms of crystals and credits. You know, I'm at 7,000 credits. I don't think I've spent anything. I don't think I've spent any credits, rather, I should say, on anything. Definitely spent some crystals on stuff, but I've definitely, you know, I've not been going crazy, is what I should say. I haven't been like wasting crystals, or at least I don't feel like I've been wasting crystals. But yeah, that's the battle pass. If I had to take a hazard guess, I probably can't access it now again. Oh wait, yeah, I can. Usually after a game, unfortunately, the battle pass shuts itself down and you have to like exit the game and reload it. It's a really annoying bug. But either way, moving on. So that's ranked. But then we have a look at casual, which is kind of like Pokemon's answer for, well, a casual format, pretty self-explanatory. And we get the same rewards on the Battle Pass. We just don't get the ranked points and we don't get the ranked rewards, which is basically just those cosmetic items that we looked at earlier. So casual, because you just get the same rewards, casual is often just full of people trying to complete the Battle Pass, which doesn't necessarily mean that they will be playing a casual deck. Now, I have seen some videos and some people playing casual where they do face a lot of casual decks, but I've been playing casual for a while now, and all I seem to face is Lugia, Mew, Urshifu, and then once in a blue moon, I'll see something more roguelike. But traditionally, you're not going to be really seeing anything that casual, despite what the name implies. So just kind of like bear that in mind when you're, you know, putting a deck together to play in these. As we can see here, there's also an expanded beta release, which only covers the Sun and Moon up to the latest sets. So even if you migrate your account with all your XY cards, which I'm presuming you will be doing, you won't be able to use the X and Y cards in a deck currently as of making this video. Now, hopefully they will change that somewhere down the line. But as it stands, for Pokemon TCG Live for the foreseeable future, Expanded is just going to be Sun and Moon to Sword and Shield to Scarlet and Violet, not X and Y, and certainly not Black and White. And of course, if we go even further back, Legacy is not a part of this. So I should probably talk about the other formats. So Legacy is not making its way into TCG Live. Basically, if you migrate your account with Legacy cards, they just get lost into the void, basically, sent straight to the abyss. To be honest, I'm in two minds about how to feel about this because Legacy was kind of a niche format that only certain players could really afford to play in. But at the same time, I really like Legacy. I like the card pool. I do think it's a cool alternate format. But at the same time, it was difficult to get into on TCGO. And I think if they were to add it back to TCG Live, they should maybe make it a little bit more accessible. So, introducing products in the shop maybe that could, have legacy content in them. The other formats that were on TCGO but not coming to TCG Live is Theme. So Theme was like this fun casual format. It was definitely, more of a casual format, but it did have its own kind of meta, if you say, because it did have the Soaring Storm theme decks, had the Charizard theme decks that are pretty good. Just a lot of like decent decks to play on Theme as well. It definitely felt a lot more balanced than some of the other formats just because of like, games weren't so easily thrown because of, two prize liabilities or anything like that. Plus, there was no evolving Vs or EX Pokemon or GX. So there's none of this, boss gust KO for two prize cards going second and stuff like that. So there's like none of that kind of thing. In a way, I do kind of wish theme decks had been continued, at least on TCG Live. Maybe you could purchase a theme deck for, I don't know, 100 crystals, maybe fair enough, 200 crystals, or maybe a bit more, I guess, because packs are 200. But, they could have found a way, I think, to continue theme decks and just import the theme decks over that you already unlocked, but unfortunately not. So what ends up happening at this point is that we don't actually have a casual format, really. We have the expanded beta, which is just Sun and Moon expanded, which say about this what you will. I think within this contained format there's some slightly less broken stuff. So for example, ADP Zacian is slightly nerfed by the fact there's no double drag energy. So that is something to bear in mind. You could argue expanded is slightly better off. I know I've said some very strong opinions about expanded in the past. I stick by them. I still think Wally and double drag energy should be banned. Will they be banned? Probably not, but one can dream. But yeah, I don't think expanded is necessarily worse off because of this, but I do think it's unfortunate that, we don't have access to the mega evolutions anymore, despite them, being power crept out of the game essentially. So it is a bit of a shame to lose the wider card pool. Even though expanded admittedly did get to the point where it was very broken and very, OP and stuff. And this has led me to get some speculation as to what they're going to do with expanded. Maybe they want to do several closed formats. So for example, this expanded format is all the way back to Sun and Moon, and then they introduce a third one that is, all the way back to X and Y, and then they introduce one after that, which is all the way back to Black and White, and they do one after that, which is even further back into Legacy or something. They could do something cool with that, I guess, or just introduce a closed format, like 2016 to 2017 Worlds or something. I'm not sure what they could do, but I do think expanded does need to see some changes. But this is certainly probably not this is definitely not the best way of handling it, but it's certainly, what they're doing right now. So back to the ranked casual thing, we don't really have much of a casual format per se. And that's why I think something like GLC would be a good addition. I know GLC is kind of dominated by the same few decks because in a format like GLC, players tend to be drawn to building around one archetype. So they end up playing the best cards for each typing, which, fair enough. That's kind of, I guess, what you're supposed to do with GLC. But in fairness, I think in an online setting where there's more people that have access to it, I think GLC could open the door to a more casual audience. And, more players could spice it up a bit, come up with new combos, and, could see a lot more variety than maybe it currently does. Besides of GLC, though, I really don't know what there is in terms of casual formats to play in Pokemon TCG. I mean, there's Draft, but I don't think TCG Live will ever be capable enough of running a draft tournament setup or anything like they do on MTG Arena, which does have its own draft format, by the way. But it would be cool to see something more casual. I have looked into a format that I've kind of been tweaking around a bit, this Lechonk League thing, where you basically can only use commons and they will have to be terrible, basically. There is several commons that have like interesting attacks, which does make the format a lot more engaging. And that basically gives life to commons and stuff that would just basically be bulk in every pack. And that's a cool way of doing it, but to be honest, I don't think Pokemon would ever add something like that, which is a shame, but it is the harsh truth. They probably will just never do something along those lines. But I do think Pokemon TCG Live does need a casual format. But yeah, because if we get into a position where standard, because this is basically just two variations of standard, it will get to the point where somewhere down the line, especially post rotation looking like Lost Zone is going to be as dominant as it is, then we're probably going to end up in a state where people are playing slow, buggy games on live in the same format with the same best decks. That's going to get pretty stale pretty quickly, and I do worry about that long term, especially for a casual audience who just want to play in, theme deck formats or GLC. That is definitely going to be a big problem. And it is worth noting that TCG Live currently doesn't support GLC either, so yeah, bit of a problem there. But yeah, I think that kind of like wraps it up. I think I've mentioned everything that I need to mention. I was going to talk about post rotation a little bit, but I think I'll just, I think there's nothing really to say more about post rotation. I think everyone knows what it's going to be like. But yeah, it's been Ember Power. Thank you for watching. Hopefully, I'll see you next time. And yeah, let me know what you think down below, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.